Discover 7 amazing secrets to heartwarming emotional resilience transform your life forever. Maria Thompson, a 32-year-old single mother in the close-knit town of Maplewood, was a whirlwind of energy and exhaustion. Balancing 2 jobs, waiting tables at the local diner and cleaning offices while juggling her 2 kids, Ellie and Jake, had become her daily routine. Mornings began at dawn, packing lunches in mismatched containers, a dash of smiles accompanied by the hum of the coffee machine. Nights ended with late homework sessions, where the soft glow of the desk lamp illuminated her weary face. Yet, beneath the fatigue, there flickered a flame of resilience. She was a fighter, determined to provide for her children no matter what. Everything shifted the day she received the call. The voice on the other end was shaky, filled with sorrow. Her mother, the woman who nurtured Maria with a love deeper than the ocean, had fallen ill. Maria's chest tightened at the news, memories flooding back, laughter shared over kitchen counters, bedtime stories that wrapped her in warmth, and the gentle hands that wiped away tears. But those memories were tainted by the absence of her father, a veteran who had chosen to walk away from the family years ago, leaving behind a tangled mess of hurt and unresolved questions. Maria found herself at the heart of the town's unity, planning a community fundraiser to cover her mother's medical expenses. As she plastered flyers around town, she felt the solidarity in Maplewood's spirit. People showed up for one another, especially when one of their own needed help. Watching neighbors and friends come together was like witnessing a tapestry woven with shared struggles and support. The night of the fundraiser sparkled with anticipation. Tables were adorned with colorful decorations, laughter filled the air, mingling with the sense of baked goods. However, her heart raced when she saw him, her father, stepping tentatively into the gymnasium where the event was hosted. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Could he really be here? The man who had created the fracture now dared to approach? Her emotions boiled as the two locked eyes. Arguments erupted, each word a strike against the fortress they had built around their pain. Maria confronted him, the weight of years of his absence pressed hard against her chest. In that moment, her father's voice, shaky and filled with remorse, spilled out defenses of his actions, shaking the ground of their already unstable relationship. The townsfolk looked on, eyes wide, feeling the deep-rooted tension, the complexities woven into their narratives. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With his desperate claims of sacrifice echoing in the air, Maria's heart raced, torn between love and anger. The crowd watched, breaths held tight. They were witnesses, not just to a family feud, but to the raw ache between a father and daughter trying to navigate through rivers of resentment intertwined with currents of hope. As silence lingered, Maria stood at the cusp of a decision. Would she reach out to the man who had hurt her so deeply? Or would she let the past grip her tighter, forbidding any chance of healing? The weight of Maplewood's collective hope hung heavily in the balance, echoing the question, could the broken pieces of their family be mended, or would they forever remain fractured? Maria's gaze shifted from her father to the crowd. The faces around her were painted with worry, empathy, and a flicker of hope. She felt the weight of their expectation, the urge to guide them to resolution. Her heart hammered, each beat a reminder of everything she had endured, the fragile bond they had shared once upon a time, now hanging by a thread. Do you even understand what you've done? Maria's voice quivered with a mix of anger and wounded love. You walked away when I needed you most. How do you expect me to just forgive you like that? Her father winced, his own pain evident. Maria, I know I made the wrong choices. I've spent years trying to make sense of it all. I'm sorry, so deeply sorry. Tears stung her eyes, threatening to overflow. Memories of crushed dreams and years of silence haunted her. But in that moment, she had to decide, clinging to her hurt or stepping into a space where healing might be possible. Sorry isn't enough, she whispered, not even sure if she was speaking to him or to herself. The air felt electric, thick with unspoken truths. Ellie and Jake, who had been tiptoeing around the room, now stood close behind their mother. They sensed the tension, uncertain, but ready to support her. Maria glanced at them, and they smiled softly, unknowingly encouraging her to find her voice. "Dad, I've fought so hard to be strong," she began, her voice firmer now. "For years, I made a life without you. And maybe I did that out of love, or maybe it was out of anger. I don't know." "I understand," he interjected, his outline trembling with unspent emotion. "But I lost myself too. Those years of absence were hell for me as well. I was weak." Just then, a little girl from the crowd, a familiar face, stepped forward. She was the daughter of a close friend, clutching tightly to a bouquet of wildflowers. "Mrs. Thompson, this is for you, for your mom." The innocent gesture broke the tension, drawing everyone back to the essence of community and compassion. Stunned, Maria accepted the flowers. "Thank you, sweetie," she said, trying to smile despite the storm inside her. She took a deep breath, searching for clarity in this maze of emotions. "Every single one of us is fighting something. What if we drop our armor for a moment and just talk? Can we try that? Just for tonight?" The words hung in the air, a lifeline she tossed into turbulent waters. Her father's expression softened, and wishes from the crowd seemed to ripple out, wrapping around them like a fragile cocoon. "Okay," he said finally, the vulnerability in his voice striking a chord within her. "Okay, let us try. I want to hear you, really hear you." As they stood on the brink of a conversation so deeply longed for, the air transformed, carrying the faint scent of promise. Maplewood buzzed around them, quiet moments filled with longing and hope intermingled, but as Maria felt the stirrings of reconciliation, a sudden loud crash interrupted the night. The gymnasium doors burst open, revealing an unexpected figure from her past, someone Maria thought would never show up again. "Maria! We need to talk." The voice echoed fiercely in the now silent room, shattering the stillness. Her heart raced. Who was this person, and what did they want? All of her emotions came crashing back, sending her spiraling. Would she ever get the chance to heal, or was this just another fracture waiting to happen? Maria froze, her breath caught in her throat. The spotlight of attention shifted abruptly from her father to this new arrival. A mixture of disbelief and dread churned within her. The figure standing in the doorway was someone she had buried deep within her memories, a ghost she thought had been laid to rest. "Liam?" She breathed, the name slipping out in a soft gasp. He stepped forward, his eyes locked onto hers with a fierce intensity that sent chills down her spine. Behind him, the murmurs of the gathered crowd began to swell like a rising tide, amplifying the weight of the moment. "Please, just listen to me," he implored, his voice carrying an urgency that heightened the tension in the air. Maria's hands trembled as she clutched the bouquet of wildflowers, their delicate petals contrasting sharply with her growing anxiety. "What do you want?" She managed to sound steadier than she felt, but inside, a storm raged. How could he show up now, when everything was already so complicated? "I know it's been a long time, and it's not an easy time for you or your family," Liam continued, stepping deeper into the room, as if trying to bridge the chasm of years spent apart. "But you need to understand, I didn't just walk away. I thought you'd be better off without me." "Better off?" Maria shot back, her heart pounding in her ears. "You think leaving me was what's best? I needed you, Liam. I had to fight through the wreckage you left behind." The crowd was thick with a mix of pity and intrigue, the atmosphere rising with the potential for conflict. Maria felt Ellie and Jake inch closer behind her, their small hands resting gently against her back, offering her that unshakable love that only they could provide. In that moment, she sensed their unwavering belief in her strength. "I know I made mistakes. I get that now, but it was never about not loving you," Liam replied, desperation creeping into his voice. "I thought I was protecting you. I thought I was helping." "Helping?" The word tasted bitter. "You weren't helping anyone, you were just running away. You don't get to just waltz back in here and expect me to listen to your excuses." Her father stood frozen, caught in the tension of the moment as his daughter confronted the specter of her past. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Maria's feelings collided together, anger blended with a deep wound that she had thought had begun to heal over. Maria, Liam continued, his voice softer now, I'm asking you, give me a chance to explain. I don't want to lose you again. Those words hung in the air like a fragile promise, stirring something within her, but what? Hope? Fear? Both? She took a step back, feeling overwhelmed. You don't get to just walk back in, Liam. I've built a life without you. It's not about you anymore. Yet inside her, a flicker of curiosity ignited. Could there be a part of the story she hadn't seen? The crowd around them began to murmur again, a low rustle of speculation and concern. Will you give me a chance? He pleaded, desperation etched across his face. As her heart clenched, the weight of the past pressing down, she hesitated. What if she said yes? What if she let him in? Tension ignited the air around them, making it hard to breathe. Maria looked to her father, then back to Liam, caught between layers of unresolved pain and a flicker of possibility. In the shadow of the unknown, she clutched the wildflowers tightly, their beauty a poignant reminder of resilience. Could she forgive? Did she want to try? The answers felt just out of reach, dangling before her like a fragile hope waiting to bloom. Maybe, she finally whispered, maybe I can listen. But as those words fell from her lips, she caught a glimpse of her father's expression, worried, strained. Would this moment usher in healing or deepen the cracks in their fragile family? And just when she thought she was ready to navigate the chaos, an unexpected voice rang out from the crowd, pulling her focus away once more. Maria, wait. You need to hear this first. Was it too late to turn back? The crowd fell silent, a collective breath held as all eyes turned to the voice that had interrupted the tense moment. It was a familiar face, Clara, Maria's childhood friend. She stood firm, her expression determined, and something about her presence ignited a flicker of hope in Maria's chest. What do you mean, Clara? Maria asked, confusion mingling with curiosity. Clara took a step forward, her gaze flickering between Maria and Liam. There are things you don't know, Maria. Things you have to hear if you're going to. She paused, her voice thick with emotion. If you're going to understand what happened. Liam's expression shifted from desperation to a mix of anxiety and wariness, and Maria felt her heart race again. This wasn't just a conversation about the past anymore, it was evolving into a confrontation of everything that had been left unsaid and buried. Clara, not now, Maria blurted, but a part of her felt drawn to the urgency in her friend's voice. No, Maria. You deserve the truth. Clara's voice rang out again, steadying the chaos. Years ago, when Liam left, there were things happening that you didn't know. There were reasons for his choices, things that were kept from you to protect you. What do you know? Liam snapped, his brows furrowing as he turned toward Clara. You don't know anything about the mess I created. But Clara stood her ground, refusing to let fear or anger shake her resolve. I know enough, she said. I know about the family matter that forced Liam to leave, the one he sacrificed his happiness for. You have to understand, Maria, it wasn't just about you. Maria's mind whirled, her emotions tangled like a web. She wanted to shut it all out, to turn away from the turmoil brewing in front of her, but the curiosity ignited by Clara's words wouldn't let her. What did Clara mean? Had Liam's decision been more complicated than betrayal? And above all, could this really change everything she believed? Maria, Liam said, his voice softer now, the anger leaving him as he reached out a hand in a desperate plea, let her talk. Fine. Maria snapped, but even as she spoke, her heart was racing, anticipating what Clara might reveal. All right, Clara breathed, glancing between them as if summoning courage from deep within. I knew about the family secrets, Maria. I didn't want to burden you then, but if you're considering giving Liam a chance, you deserve to know why he felt he had to leave. Suddenly a quiet tension wrapped around them, a bubble in which secrets were ready to burst. Maria could feel the weight of the crowd watching, their breaths stilled by an uncomfortable anticipation. What secrets? Maria asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Clara hesitated, her eyes shining with unshed tears. Your grandmother. She was sick, and they were trying to keep it from you. Liam felt that staying would only drag you into the pain and chaos. He thought leaving you was the right choice for all of you. For a moment, the room felt like it was spinning, and Maria's heart sank as she processed the revelation. But why wouldn't he just tell me? Why leave me in the dark? Because he thought you would blame him, Clara replied. And the last thing he wanted was to hurt you more. He thought he was doing it for your own good. Maria felt a swell of emotions crash over her, the tides of confusion and anger changing. Could any of this be true? A part of her questioned everything she had believed for years. Every moment of pain he had put her through now caught in a new light. Shaken, she glanced at Liam, who seemed to mirror her turmoil, eyes pleading for understanding, yearning for connection despite the pain they both carried. Do you really think I would have blamed you? Maria asked, her voice shaking. Do you really think leaving was the answer? Tension snapped taut in the air, the crowd could almost taste the change brewing. Would this revelation bring them closer, or drive them further apart? Before she could dwell on the implications, Clara added, Maria, please. If you're considering letting Liam explain, hear him out. But whatever you choose tonight, you need to remember it's your choice. Not his, not anyone else's. Could she really forgive him and move forward, knowing the truth? Did she have the strength to confront the past with the new understanding growing inside her? As she wrestled with the magnitude of her next move, the silence around her pulsed with anticipation. Just then, her father stepped forward, his voice barely above a whisper, trembling with emotion. Maria, please know that whatever you decide, I'm with you. But I fear this might open wounds that can't be healed. The words hung in the air like a warning, echoing deep within her heart. What was she willing to sacrifice in the pursuit of truth, and could that truth be the key to healing or just another source of pain? Maria's heart pounded behind her ribs, each thought a reminder of the life-changing crossroads she stood at. The room felt alive with expectation, with whispers flitting between the crowd, buzzing like wings in the still air. The tension was thick, tangled with emotions that threatened to spill over. Maria, Liam's voice cracked, seeking her attention. I didn't intend to hurt you. I thought leaving would be the best way, to keep you safe. But it wasn't. It never was. His eyes, dark and intense, shone with regret and vulnerability. She blinked away tears, torn between anger and understanding. You thought the best way to protect me was to abandon me? Clara stepped in, her brow furrowed with concern. It's complicated, Maria. Liam was just a kid, trying to navigate a situation that felt hopeless. He didn't know how to handle it, so he ran. But I needed someone to face it with me. Maria snapped, her voice echoing through the gathering. I lost you both. I lost everything because you thought a lie would be easier. It hurt to say it, each word cutting like a knife, but she couldn't hide her pain anymore. Liam flinched. I never wanted to hurt you. Then why didn't you at least say goodbye? Silence consumed the crowd, heavy and unbearable. All eyes were locked onto them, and for the first time in years, Maria was acutely aware of how vulnerable she felt. She had built walls strong enough to protect herself but had now found them crumbling. Because, Liam began, his tone baby-soft, I couldn't face you. Not after everything. The honesty in his voice ignited another wave of confusion. How could he have felt such immense pain yet left her to bear hers alone? It felt cruel, yet somehow, she sensed the loops that life had twisted them through, stitching harsh lessons into their paths. Clara, watching the pain unfold, rallied. But, Maria, if you give him a chance to explain, you might understand what led into this. There is still time, you know? Time to find a way back. A gently rising hope floated through Maria, but it quickly turned heavy again. The thought of reconciling with the past was a daunting task. My life was one endless question after you left, Liam. I needed closure, not silence. I didn't understand anything back then. I thought I was being noble, he replied, his voice shaking. But in reality, I was a coward. I never wanted to be the reason for your pain. I just didn't know how to handle it. She stared at him, her mind racing, piecing together the jigsaw of what could have been. The raw emotions swirling made her feel alive in ways she hadn't experienced in years. Maybe, she said slowly, testing the weight of the word, maybe knowing you didn't just walk away for no reason changes things a little. His posture shifted as hope lit his eyes. I need to tell you everything. You deserve to know the truth, not just about what happened then but about how I've felt since. A flicker of determination surged within her. Perhaps the truth could bind the pieces of their past together again. Then tell me, Maria demanded, her breath trembling. But know this: if I'm opening this door, we have to be honest. No more secrets. The atmosphere pulsated with newfound energy, a fragile balance of fear and possibility. The weight of her decision sat like a stone in her gut. She couldn't let the past define her anymore. If clarity was what she needed to move forward, then she had to be brave enough to hear him out. The crowd leaned in, anticipation stretching taut. All right, Maria, Liam replied, nodding his hands, this begins with a letter from your grandmother. And as the gravity of his words sank in, Maria knew everything was about to change. Could the truth really set them free, or would it only bind them to even deeper wounds? Liam's voice, now a hesitant whisper, felt like a thread pulling Maria's heart along. She caught Clara's worried gaze from the corner of her eye, the tension in the room so palpable it seemed to vibrate. Whatever was in that letter could unravel everything she thought she knew. What letter? Maria pressed, urgency rising with each heartbeat. You're not making sense. He took a deep breath, his chest rising and falling under the weight of the moment. Your grandmother, she wrote it shortly before she passed. I found it among some old things. At the time, I thought it wasn't my place to share it. Maria felt a wave of disbelief wash over her. A letter? Why hadn't anyone told her? All these years searching for answers, and there was something tangible waiting for her. What did it say? Mostly about family, Liam replied, his voice barely above a murmur. But there was one part that, it was about you, Maria. About us. The crowd seemed to hold its breath, every eye fixed on her. Heat rose in her cheeks. You can't drop that kind of bomb and not tell me what it says. Okay, Liam said, swallowing hard. She had faith that you would have the strength to confront the truth. That honesty would bring healing. She believed that love, no matter what, would always find a way back. The sentiment hit her like a tidal wave. Her grandmother had always been a voice of wisdom, guiding her through storms with a gentle touch. I should have known she wouldn't let all of this go unsaid. Liam shifted, looking more vulnerable than ever. I was scared, Maria. I still am. But I can't keep hiding from this. I let you down, and I can't pretend it didn't happen. Tying her emotions with Liam's confession felt like trying to connect two distant stars. Did you even try to come back? Or were you content burying the past, living with the guilt? Liam's eyes flared with hurt, but she couldn't hold back. She needed to know how deep his regret ran. I meant to, he said softly, but then doubts crept in. I feared you'd hate me. You deserved better than a coward. Coward or not, you still left. It hurt her to say it, but she had to get it out. You broke me in ways you don't even see. And yet, a part of her softened. Looking into his eyes, she saw a reflection of the boy she once loved. The boy still fighting to emerge from the wreckage. A flicker of understanding ignited inside her. I need you to know, he continued, that letter is just the beginning. I've carried so much things I thought would ruin us. I grew up thinking I had to be strong, but now I'm realizing vulnerability is the real strength. The weight of his pain resonated within her, creating cracks in her own armor. What if this truth changes everything? She whispered, the implications sending shivers down her spine. Then we deal with it together, he replied, stepping closer. Whatever it means, we face it. No more running. Her heart ached with conflicting emotions: fear, hope, anger. It was as if she stood on the edge of an abyss, staring down into the unknown. Inside, she craved the honesty that could either cut deeper or stitch them back together. Maria hesitated, then shook her head. I can't promise that we end up okay. Neither can I, Liam said, his eyes desperate. But it's worth the risk. We can't heal without digging through the past. As their eyes locked, it felt like the air around them crackled with electricity. Maria could feel the weight of years pressing on her laughter, her joy, her heart. But just as she opened her mouth to speak, the sound of the door swung open, drawing attention away. Maria! A shout broke through the intensity, slicing the moment in half. It was Mike, his face taut with urgency. Fear creased his brow, and in that instant, Maria's heart sank. How could something so important be interrupted now? Something has happened. You need to come with me. Fast. Confusion twisted in her gut as she shot a pleading look at Liam. The truth felt so close, yet now shrouded in mystery again. Could this be fate stepping in, just as she was about to uncover everything? What awaited outside? The crowd buzzed with murmurs, anticipation peaking as they all turned their focus to the door. Maria? Liam called, his voice laced with urgency. She hesitated, torn between worlds, one where her past could be explained and one that now beckoned her into the unknown. Tell me your truth, Maria whispered to him, and please, make it worth the risk. As she stepped towards the door, every heart in the room thudded with the promise of what was yet to come. What awaited them outside, and how would it change everything she thought she knew? Maria moved toward the door, a mix of dread and curiosity swirling in her chest. Mike's urgency was like a siren, pulling her from the fragile moment with Liam into an unknown tension outside. She felt his gaze heavy on her back, a silent plea imbued with all the unspoken truths they were now skirting around. Maria! Mike repeated, his voice a plea laced with anxiety. We don't have time. With one last look at Liam, she stepped into the hallway, adrenaline flooding her veins. The crowd in the room faded away, their whispers becoming a distant hum. Outside, the world was buzzing with energy, but the heaviness hung in the air like a storm cloud threatening to burst. What happened? She asked Mike, fear sharpening each word. There's been an accident, he said, his expression grim. It's Sarah. She was in the park when it's bad, Maria. Her heart dropped. Sarah was her younger sister, laughter personified, a spark of life in the family. What do you mean, bad? Her breath quickened. They said she collapsed. They're taking her to the hospital. Mama's already there, he explained, urgency saturating his voice. We need to go now. Maria's mind raced. Questions flooded in. Was she okay? Was it serious? Images of past moments with Sarah flashed through her mind, memories of care and laughter, of running through fields and sharing secrets. Terror clawed at her insides, gripping her heart. Let us go, she said, pushing down her panic as they rushed outside. The evening air was sharp, cutting through her fog of disbelief. Mike led the way, his long strides matching the rapid pace of her heartbeat. As they reached the parking lot, Maria boundlessly reached for her phone, dialing her mom's number. It rang and rang, but there was no answer. Anxiety gnawed at her, filling every silence. Don't think the worst, Mike said, glancing over at her. It could be fine. Just a scare. But how could she allow herself to believe that when thoughts of what could go wrong loomed larger than ever? What if she didn't get to say goodbye? Maria, stay with me, Mike urged, his hand finding hers, a lifeline pulling her back from the brink of fear. Breathe. We'll get through this together. The car ride felt like an eternity, the city's lights blurring past them. Maria's thoughts swirled around the weight of what was happening and the unresolved feelings left with Liam. The truth about family, love, risk, it all felt tangled like the traffic around them. Finally, they arrived at the hospital, the harsh fluorescent lights blaring overhead. As they rushed through the doors, the antiseptic smell hit her like a wave, her stomach turning at the sight of families huddled together, waiting. Over here. Mike pointed as they approached the waiting area, where her parents sat, faces pale and drawn. Mom! Maria shouted, fear clawing at her throat as she rushed to her mother's side. The moment she embraced her, the weight of everything, the letter, her past, her fragile relationship with Liam, seemed to dissipate for a brief moment, eclipsed by the sheer urgency of now. There's no news yet. Her mother's voice trembled. They're running tests. Maria held her mother tighter, the reality crashing down on her. How bad is it? We don't know, her mother whispered, the anguish palpable in her voice. A doctor approached them, clipboard in hand, face somber. Family of Sarah Mitchell? He asked. Maria's heart raced. The moment of truth was about to arrive, cutting through the darkness of uncertainty. Please, tell us she is okay, Maria breathed, clinging to hope as every eye turned toward the doctor, awaiting words that could shatter or shore up their world. But as the doctor took a deep breath, Maria realized that whatever had been waiting for her in the past was now overshadowed by the life and death situation in front of her. What news would change the course of everything they loved? The doctor's next words would ripple through every connection she held dear. Would they stitch together a fragile family or unravel it completely? The doctor's gaze fell upon them, weighty and laced with authority. Maria could feel the tension in the air, a tight coil of fear and hope. Her heart raced, each beat thudding loudly against her ribcage as she prepared to hear the fate of her sister. Sarah is stable, but she has suffered a seizure, the doctor finally said, his voice steady yet devoid of solace. We're keeping her under observation for now. We need to run more tests to determine the cause. Stability. The word whispered through Maria's mind like a fragile promise. Sarah was alive, yet the uncertainty was gnawing. Is she going to be okay? Maria blurted out, desperation coloring her tone. We need to take this one step at a time, the doctor replied, glancing back at his clipboard. I know it's frightening, but right now she is in good hands. Maria nodded, but inside, the storm of emotions intensified. She felt her mother's grip tighten around her shoulder as they shared a moment of unspoken fear. Mike stood close, his presence a steadying influence, yet all Maria wanted was to burst into the room and see her sister's face. Could she even bear the thought of not having Sarah there to laugh with her again? Do I need to stay? Maria asked, her voice shaky. Can I see her? Visiting hours are limited, but I'll allow you in for a few minutes, the doctor said, softening slightly. Follow me. As they walked down the stark white hallway, Maria felt the sterile walls close in around her. Every step amplified her anxiety. She could barely breathe, concerned about what she might find. Pushing through the door to Sarah's room felt surreal. The beeping of monitors, the smell of antiseptic, it was all too much, yet familiar in an utterly disconcerting way. Sarah lay there, small and motionless, her dark hair fanned across the pillow. Maria's heart broke at the sight. The vibrant girl who loved to dance and sing was reduced to this fragile form, wires and tubes beeping around her. Sarah, Maria whispered, stepping close. She took her sister's hand into her own, the warmth grounding her. I'm here. I'm right here. For a moment, all time stood still. Just touching Sarah's hand filled her with a sense of connection, the love between sisters pushing back against the fear that tried to swallow her whole. She could feel tears gathering, but she bit them back, her heart aching. Please come back to us, please, she murmured, her voice breaking. You have so much to live for. As she stood there, so many memories flooded back, Sarah's laughter echoing in summer fields, making up silly songs, their late-night confidences over shared ice cream. Maria realized how much she had taken those moments for granted. Regrets flooded in, her heart ached over time wasted, arguments that felt trivial now, worries about boys who didn't matter. Life was happening all around them, and she realized they only had each other to hold on to. A commotion in the hallway broke her focus. Maria turned, just in time to see her mother rushing in. What did the doctor say? She asked, breathless. They said Sarah is stable, but Maria began, as the door swung open again, revealing Liam, his face a mix of concern and confusion. What is going on? He asked, eyes darting to Sarah, then back to Maria. As Maria caught Liam's gaze, a wave of emotion surged within her: relief, confusion, and heartbreak. Would they find a way through this together, or would the strains of uncertainty stretch their bonds too thin? What could happen next? As they all stood together in that small room, a heart-wrenching question loomed over them: could they handle the truth of what lay ahead? Maria looked around the sterile room, where the smell of antiseptic mingled with the soft hum of machines. Her mother held Sarah's hand tightly, the worry etched deep into her face. Mike stepped closer to Maria, brushing his fingers against her arm, a silent assurance in the turmoil of their emotions. We're all here for her, Mike said softly, as if sensing her fear. She can feel it. The love. Maria wanted to believe him, but doubt twisted in her stomach. What if Sarah couldn't feel them? What if this time, the darkness surrounded her so completely that she couldn't find her way back? Has anyone called Dad? Maria asked, her voice barely a whisper. Her mother shook her head, wiping a tear from her cheek. I think he's still at work. I'll call him after we talk to the doctor. With every passing minute, the weight of uncertainty pressed heavier on Maria's chest. It felt like they were stuck in some nightmare, where time moved cruelly slow and hope flickered dimly. Could they really count on Sarah to come back to them? Do you want me to get some water or coffee? Mike offered. No, Maria felt her voice falter. She needed to stay close to Sarah. Every minute felt precious. I'll be fine. Outside, the sounds of footsteps echoed in the hallway, the normalcy of the busy world outside their bubble a stark contrast to the chaos threading through her heart. Voices rose and fell, but Maria's focus was solely on the figure lying in the hospital bed, her sister's breath a rhythmic reminder of life, a life fighting to wake up. I don't think she is going to leave us, Maria finally said, breaking the silence. Her words hit the air like a pebble dropped in still water, sending ripples of doubt. I just need to believe that. Of course she is not, her mother replied quickly, though uncertainty flickered in her eyes. She is a fighter, just like you. A smile danced briefly on Maria's lips, but the truth was, she didn't feel like a fighter. She felt weary and scared. The love they had wasn't enough. They needed answers, they needed strength, but where would it come from? I wish I could just wake her up, Maria said suddenly. How do we make her know we're here? That we're with her? Mike looked thoughtful. Maybe we can each share a memory, something positive. Maybe it'll bring her back, somehow. Remember the summer when we made that huge blanket fort? Maria said, her voice lifting a little, the memory warm. We filled it with snacks and stayed in there all night, telling ghost stories. Sarah was so scared she wouldn't even look out from under the blanket. Liam chuckled quietly. And then she fell asleep and snored louder than a freight train. At that, a small smile creased Maria's lips, lightened by the memories. But the smile quickly faded as her mother turned towards her, eyes shining with tears. It's all the little moments that matter, she said, her voice barely a whisper. What we do next will be for her. What if her next wake-up isn't what we expect? Maria's voice trembled as she pushed back the fears clawing at her throat. What if this changes everything? The word hung in the air, palpable and heavy, the unthinkable left unsaid. They all seemed to glance at Sarah, their hearts intertwined in questions and fears. Waiting felt agonizing. Maria could sense a shift in the atmosphere, charged with uncertainty. Suddenly, with no warning at all, a nurse stepped into the room. Ms. Rivera? She said, looking directly at their mother. The doctor would like to speak with you now. Maria's heart sank. She exchanged frantic glances with Mike and her mother, trying to decipher the meaning in those words. Time seemed to freeze, stretching into an unbearable silence. What news awaited them, and how would it shape the fragile thread of hope they clutched so tightly? As the nurse faded from view, an anxious pulse raced through the room. Did they truly have the strength to face whatever came next? Maria felt a chill wash over her. The nurse's words hung in the air, thick with dread. She watched her mother rise, her expression a mixture of worry and resolve, and in that moment, Maria's heart felt like it was shattering all over again. Mom, she started, the word catching in her throat. But her mother was already moving, her footsteps echoing down the sterile hallway, leaving Maria with an agonizing weight that felt like an eternity. What do you think it is? Mike asked, anxiety etched on his face. I don't know, Maria replied, her voice trembling. But I can't take this. Not again. With each tick of the clock, time seemed to stretch. Her mind raced back to moments shared with Sarah, the laughter, silly fights over picking which TV show to watch, the warm hugs that could soothe any bad day. Each memory was a pang of hope but also reality, reminding her of the fragile thread that connected their lives. Suddenly, all the burdens she had been carrying, her unresolved issues with Liam, the weight of her father's absence, the turmoil of being a single mother felt impossibly heavy. Liam stepped closer, his presence a soft anchor amidst the storm. "Maria," he said softly, "you've been strong through all of this. I know you don't want to hear this, but you need to focus on what you can control right now. Sarah is a fighter." As she locked eyes with him, a flicker of hope ignited in her chest. "What if she is not? What if we lose her?" The words burst forth, laden with fear. Liam shook his head, determination clear in his eyes. "You can't go there. Your sister needs you to believe in her strength. You stood up today. You faced your father. You can face this, too." I don't know if I can," Maria admitted. Vulnerability poured out of her, each admission cracking her hard outer shell. She nodded towards the door her mother had vanished through. "What if I'm just pretending to be strong? Then break." Liam stepped closer, intensity radiating from him. "You can have those moments. Let it out. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel lost. Just don't let it take you over. You're still here. You're with your family. You can stand together." Just then, the door swung open, and her mother walked back in, face taut before morphing into a cautious smile. "Sarah is awake," her mother announced, barely containing the emotion swelling in her voice. Surely, Maria heard wrong. Surely, the world couldn't shift like that so suddenly. "What?" "Just for a moment. They said her vitals are strong. They're still running tests, but she opened her eyes. It's a good sign." An overwhelming surge of relief flooded through Maria as tears spilled over, blurring her vision. She felt the warmth of her mother's arms wrap around her, the tight embrace a balm against all worries. "She is still here. I knew she would fight," she whispered, relinquishing the fear that had gripped her. Liam's hopeful gaze was fixed on Maria as she registered what was happening. In that moment, she felt something within her shift. "Thank you, Liam, for being here." His smile was genuine, a spark of something deeper passing between them. Perhaps this was the moment they both needed, a step toward understanding the paths they had walked separately. A sudden beeping from the heart monitor cut through the unsaid. "Let us go see her," Mike said, clenching Maria's hand for support. And suddenly, there was no more time for past grievances, no space for uncertainty. With revitalized hope, they rushed through the door, and as they stepped closer to Sarah's room, Maria could feel the thread of love and resilience binding them together. As they entered, Maria glimpsed her sister small and fragile, but undeniably alive. Sarah's eyes fluttered open, struggling to focus, yet the moment their gazes met, a warm smile broke through. "Hey, Maria," Sarah croaked, her voice raspy yet full of life. The rush of emotion was overwhelming. Maria rushed forward, wrapping her sister in her arms, tears flowing freely. I'm here," she whispered, words laced with the comfort they both needed. The room felt brighter thanks to the quiet joy of their reunion, filling every crack with the balm of family love. "You scared me," Maria said, holding her sister close. "I'm sorry," Sarah smiled weakly, still trying to process the world around her. Overcome with a hard-won strength, Maria turned to face her mother, then back at Liam and Mike, who stood nearby, faces bright with relief. "We're all together," she said, her voice steadying. As they shared this fleeting yet precious time, Maria felt the weight of their collective history pulled back to the light. Moments of laughter and support, now mingled with the bittersweet edge of their growth, reminded her that life could be full of uncertainty, but they had each other. The future was still unknown, marked by fragile beginnings and fearful shadows. Yet at this moment, surrounded by the warmth of family, Maria found clarity in the start of something new, a healing transformational strength born from love, understanding, and vulnerability. For the first time in a long time, Maria allowed herself to believe in hope, in connection, and in the power of every shared moment, the resilience of family forging the way through darkness toward the light. And in that moment, she realized, healing wasn't just about the past but also about moving forward as one together in love. And now, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire, uplift, and change lives forever. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm so we can reach more people, spreading this joy and transformation. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this story. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand how important it is to support the channel through these actions.